After the 2009 Iranian election, my family and I found ourselves glued to every screen in the house, waiting for the latest news minute by minute. One voice that stood out was Hooman Majd.
In the last 30 years, elections in Iran have been considered fair.
I got a hold of his book, powered through it, and then got a hold of the man himself in New York City, where we talked about the Iran beyond the headlines.
The Iranian health system is pretty good, and the government is very good about emphasizing health and welfare. And, you have to give credit where credit is due. No matter what you think of the government or what you think of this particular government, there are certain things that they are good about. Smoking is a perfect example. They're educating the public to be non-smokers, and you can't smoke anywhere in cafes and restaurants and all that. And they have these big warning labels on cigarette packs now with the lung and everything else. But in typical Iranian fashion, if you pay extra, you can buy the same cigarette without the warning label.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So smokers who are really offended by seeing a diseased lung, you can pay, I think, the equivalent of about, 20 cents a pack more for a pack without the little warning label. So Iranians are reluctant to follow rules. Because of the system of government that we've had monarchy, and we've had now an Islamic Republic. Where a lot of freedoms don't exist, and the government intrudes in many ways on your social life. Iranians have always figured out how to beat the system. Women have to wear a hijab, and then it became a scarf, and then the scarf gets pushed back and back and back. Traffic laws, one of the reasons Tehran has such bad traffic is because people don't obey traffic laws. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal to run a red light. I mean, come on. If we can get away with it, let's get away with it, It's like, that goes to everything from taxes to, behavior, smoking.
And, not to mention, international politics.
It is not acceptable that the United Nations, whose decisions should represent all nations and governments, be dominated by a few governments who seek to serve their own interests.
Iran's an advanced civilization with a great history, with 2,500 years of history, a great empire at one time, a country that gave a lot to the world. Everything from poetry to literature to science, mysticism, all kinds of things, to human rights, the first Declaration of Human Rights. And at the same time, Iran's been an underdog for centuries. It's been a very weak country under the influence of, the great powers, whether it was Great Britain and Russia in the 18th, 19th, and early 20th century, and then the United States after World War II. Wanting to break out of that is something that's within all Iranians, really. Even Iranians who are opposed to this government, even Iranians who are opposed to the Islamic Republic, don't really want to return to being a client state of the United States.
It is not acceptable that the military budget of some governments exceeds far larger those of the entire countries of the world, while accusing others of militarism and impede the scientific and technological progress of other nations under the pretext of countering arms proliferation.
The Islamic Republic is saying, well, we don't care what the West says. We'll do whatever we want. And everything from taking over the U.S. Embassy saying, well, yes, it's against international law, but we don't care. We will just do whatever we want, and nobody can, do anything about it. And they've kind of been proven right on many occasions that nobody can do anything, including on the nuclear issue. And they get away with it because it's very hard to enforce. We don't care. We'll do whatever we want. It's not going to hurt anybody.
Did you steal this election, sir?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Did you create conditions so that you would win no matter the vote?
It's very clear. Whoever becomes a candidate will start a campaign and will do his utmost to win.
Long live love and spirituality. Long live peace and security. Long live justice and freedom. I thank you all.